Imagine this. You finally found the business that looks perfect, cash flowing, six figures, solid customer base, loyal staff. You're picturing yourself running it already. And then, a year later, you're stuck in lawsuits, sleepless nights, and wondering, how the hell did I get here? We've all heard that phrase. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But in acquisitions, here's the twist. Even when it looks good, even when it feels good, it can still be the worst move you'll ever make. Today, I'm going to show you the subtle red flags that tell you, walk away. Hi, I'm John Stoddard from DealFlowSystem.net. I've helped buyers close $33 million in deals and raise $50 million in funding. If you're working full-time and want to buy a business without wasting years on junk, this video is for you. All right, part one, the lure of a good deal. There's nothing more dangerous than the deal that looks good enough. Why? Because your brains trick us. You see numbers, you get the dopamine hit. The brokers know it, and that's why they polish the sim. They highlight the adjusted EBITDA, or SDE, and they sprinkle in phrases like huge growth potential. But your instincts, they're not perfect. There's the psychology of sunk cost. Ever gone on a bad date, but you stick around because you've already ordered dinner? Same thing happens with deals. You spent weeks digging. You've paid for the Q of E. Maybe you've even drafted an LOI. Walking away feels like wasting money. But doubling down on a bad path, that's even worse. Here's a Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger story I like. Charlie Munger once joked that humans are the only animals that double down on bad behavior. Pigeons don't, rats don't, but investors do. He and Buffett famously avoided tech stocks for decades, not because they didn't see the upside, but because they didn't understand them. They'd rather walk than gamble. That discipline is what saved them when the dot-com bubble burst. I had a student recently looked at a business that was SBA pre-qualified, had 20% margins, reoccurring customers, gorgeous on paper. But then he spotted something. The seller had only owned it for 5 years, still under the first SBA note. So why sell? Was it burnout? Hidden cracks? Too much customer concentration? We don't know the answer to that. And that's the point. You don't have to find out. He walked. So let me ask you, are you falling in love with a story or the substance? All right. Part two, hidden costs and liabilities. Now let's talk about the landmines under the surface. Everyone looks at price. Few look at costs you can't see, like operational inefficiencies. That lean team might actually mean burned out employees ready to quit. Integration nightmares. Ever try merging two CRM systems or two company cultures? That's where margin disappears. What about personal time drain? Numbers may look passive, but day-to-day operations can eat your life. Here's another Warren Buffett story. Warren swore off airlines for decades. Why? Huge fixed costs, unions, unpredictable fuel, and customer service headaches. He literally called them a death trap for investors. And the one time he broke the rule, 2016. By 2020, he dumped them for a loss. Even Buffett gets burned when he ignores his own walk-away triggers. I know a buyer who grabbed a company with low overhead. Sounds great, right? Except that low overhead meant the owner was the glue holding it together. The minute he left, the systems collapsed. My friend didn't buy a business. He kind of bought a black hole for his time. Would you trade financial gain for emotional drain? Because that's what hidden liabilities do. They don't just hit your wallet, they hit your sleep. Part three, when values don't align. Money matters, but values matter more. Here's why. When cultures clash, profits also clash. The seller runs it like a family business, and everyone's a cousin. You want structure, KPIs, accountability. That's actually friction to them. Seller cuts corners, runs expenses through the business. You want clean books, ethical reporting. That's another red flag. Ray Dalio says his worst business failures weren't about money. They were about people. He partnered with folks who didn't share his values, and it cost him millions. Eventually, he wrote that book, Principles. Do you have it? To stop making that mistake. I once reviewed a deal where the seller proudly showed me adjusted EBITDA after adding back their boat payments. Yeah, funny, right? But also a signal. If they blur personal and business lines, what else are they hiding? It's like, would you sacrifice your name and your reputation for short-term cash flow, or do you walk? That's your principle. Part 4, the overcomplicated and opaque. Here's a simple rule. If you can't explain it to a 10-year-old, you probably shouldn't buy it. Complex earnouts, mysterious owner add-backs, or revenue models you don't fully understand. These aren't sophistication, they're smoke. Sellers who won't share tax returns or bank statements, that's a deal breaker, not a deal. Charlie Munger would say, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. I've seen buyers spend months untangling books just to prove it's viable. By the end, they're exhausted. The deal dies, and they wasted time they could have spent finding the next opportunity. Let me ask you a question. If the seller's not transparent now, what do you think it's going to look like once they cash your check and leave? Part 5, empowering your exit strategy. Here's where pros separate themselves from amateurs. They know when to walk before the dance even starts. You've got to be able to set your walkaway price. Have your ceiling and stick to it. And set your walkaway conditions. Financing terms, seller transition, lease approval. These are non-negotiables. And stick to discipline, no matter how good the deal looks. Warren Buffett would say the difference between successful people and really successful people is the really successful people say no to almost everything. All right, walking away doesn't burn bridges. It actually builds respect. Sellers remember the disciplined buyer. And when reality checks them later, guess who they call back? The one who said no with professionalism. I've had students walk away from deals only to get calls 6 months later. Hey, you remember that LOI you offered? Are you still interested? And because they walk, they got it cheaper the second time around. Think of this like dating. If someone shows you who they are, believe them and be willing to walk. The right one will come around. So when should you walk away from a good deal? Number 1, when it only looks good on paper. Number 2, when hidden liabilities outweigh the upside. Number 3, when values don't align. Number 4, when it's complicated or opaque. Number 5, when it crosses your walkaway line. Sometimes the best deal you'll ever make is the one you never close. All right, if you found this useful, smash that subscribe button. And if you're serious about buying your first business, head over to dealflowsystem.net. That's where I show you exactly how to find, fund, and close deals the smart way. Because remember, sometimes saying no opens the door for a hell yes deal tomorrow. I'm John Stoddard, and I'll see you on the next one.